This is a quick video on how to use the Planner feature in DegreeWorks. We have two test students that you can use in production. We have Lady Lancer and we have Maverick T. Manatee. Feel free to use those students in production to practice with the Planner. To access the Planner, you'll go to the top left tab labeled Plans. If the student does not have a plan, a box will prompt you to either create a plan from scratch or use a template. In most cases, you'll want to use a template and just make adjustments to the template for that student. These templates are based upon our academic degree pathways. Here you can see a list of all the pathways that we have created. They're based on the different interests of the student and degree programs. I'm going to go ahead and select the General AA Degree Pathway, which is a very general path for just completing the AA degree without a focus on a particular interest. Hit Open, and then you'll select a term for when that student is going to start pursuing that academic plan. All the terms start in fall, but if you do have a student that's a transfer student or is starting in the spring, you can go in and make adjustments to change it to spring or even a summer term. I'm going to hit OK. And now that General AA template is locked in for this student. Up atop, there is an active and locked button. The only way that a student can have an active and locked plan is either through mass assignment, where we assign every single student a plan. This will happen for first time in college students, where we assign them an AA general pathway if they're in the AA degree or in their respective programs. Advisors, if the student does not have a plan or you're overriding an existing plan, you're going to click these lock and active buttons, and then you'll hit save in the bottom right hand corner, and that student will have a lock and active plan. What that means is that that's the plan the student is going to follow, and then also the plan that we're going to track for data and also track for the student's completion, so we can get warning messages if the students are behind in their plans. So let's go ahead and lock and activate this plan for Lady Lancer. If you ever want to view the history of plans for students, you can go to the View Plan list in the top right, and you'll see all of the plans ever created for that student, but you'll see only one is active at any given time. There are some useful features at the top here. If you want to expand the entire academic plan for the student, you can go ahead and click Expand All Terms. And it's going to expand all of the different semesters that were showcased here in this general section. You can also add a term, and you can also add plan notations. So let's look at this plan. This is the General AA degree pathway for our students. Let's look at Fall 2020, which is the starting term that we selected for Lady Lancer. In this term, we require that students take ENC 1101. It's a 3 credit hour course, and it's checkmarked critical because we need the students to take that course as early as possible. When a course is checkmarked critical, it means that if they do not successfully enroll or pass that class in that term, it will automatically move that course into the next semester. If they miss a course and wasn't marked critical, they just get a general notification that that course will have to be taken at another time, but it's not automatically moved. It's also recommended that the student take a Gen Ed Area 2 math course, a Gen Ed Area 3 Social Sciences A course, an AA elective, another AA elective, that they schedule an advising session in their first semester, and that they may want to see an advisor because additional requirements may apply. Again, there are things in this planner that advisors are going to have to catch, things like international requirements, Gordon Rule, civic literacy, things that we can tell them to take a math course or a social science course, but unless you're building it in for the student, they may not accomplish taking an international course that's also a social sciences course. So we need to make sure that when we're building these plans for these students that we build in for those requirements as well. Now you can always reassign this term to another term. So if the student ends up not enrolling in fall 2020, you can click reassign and then move that to spring of 2021. You can also add additional requirements using the add requirement button, or you can delete selected requirements and you can add notes. You can also add notes to particular requirements. So you'll see here on the Social Sciences A course, there's little lines on this note paper that indicates that there is a note attached to that requirement, and the student can click on that note and read that note. So you can add notations to the requirements as well. On the right-hand side is a breakdown of all of the requirements. You can also create a new plan for a student by clicking New Plan. But let's go ahead and look at this fall 2020 term. Let's say that this student wanted to get very particular with their selections and they wanted to go ahead and select the math course that they were taking. Well, you could go in and delete this requirement and then do add, and you can add a course choice, a GPA requirement, a placeholder, or a test score. So here we're going to replace the math course with a specific math course that the student wanted to take. So we're going to go ahead and use the magnifying glass. We're going to look for MGF, and the student wanted to take MGF 1106. We're not going to mark it as critical because for us, we've talked to that student and they can take that math at any time in their career. And then we'll save it. And you'll see that instead of the general math credit, you've now assigned to that student a more specific math course to take in that term. That's all of the general information for using the planner feature for students. If you have any other questions, please email degreeworks@scf.edu.